Hey guys, Agent Katesith here, and after months and years of speculation and theory crafting and waiting, Skrillex has finally come out and announced the brand new storyline for Final Fantasy XI called the Voracious Resurgence. This has been kind of a long time coming. A lot of people have been speculating based on a recent developer Q&As and a lot of hints they've been giving throughout the past, I want to say, 2 years. There's a year ago, I believe, the head of the online division became Yoshi P, and Yoshi P started approving Final Fantasy XI's budget for 3 years in the future instead of just what they said was they were only renewing 11's budget like 6 or 3 months at a time. So this is finally the fruit of their labor coming forth, it seems. A lot of interesting details to go into. Let's get right into it. So, a long-awaited new storyline comes to Final Fantasy XI. Just to touch on this, this is like, this is like the third final storyline that they've said. They actually, to their credit, they haven't said this is the final storyline, but they have said Abyssia was the final storyline. That obviously wasn't true. They said Secrets was the final storyline. That wasn't true. And then they definitely said that Rhapsodies of Vana'diel was the final storyline. And we all know that, now we have a brand new storyline once again. So really, never believe Square when they say they're done with Final Fantasy XI because we just keep kicking, we keep dragging them along, and we the game is still alive and still going strong. So it starts out with this amazing illustration by Akihiro Yamada. It gives a really cool vibe, like a like an old school concept art thing. And let's just take a look at it real quick. So the thing that pops out to me first off is the dark relic weapons. We'll get to this later, but just these are definitely different relic weapons. Especially that sticks out to me is this dark Ragnarok that this goblin is holding, right? And then we got a giant egg to the left here. What comes from the egg? I mean, obviously that would be a mysterious thing. Over here to the far, far left, we seem to have uh, structures that we know and love and realize. So this is the Tavnasian structure, and down here seems to be the city of Whitegate. And then there's a mountain structure right here. I'm not positive what that is. It could be the mountain in Khmer Drifts, but I'm not positive. And then we have some beastmen that seem to be marching on the egg. Well, that could be an interesting detail later on. And then obviously, we also have the big mountain structure up here, which is definitely new. This does not exist in 11. This could conceivably be a new fortress or battle area that we may get access to later on. With it being so prominent, we will see. We don't know right now. But back to what they are announcing here, we are pleased to announce a new website for the Voracious Resurgence, a new storyline unfolding throughout the world of Vana'diel. Explore a dark segment of the world's past, depicted in a stunning illustration by Akihiro Yamada, as the story unfolds over the course of many version updates. So first thing off here is they hint that this is the world's past. So this is something that's happened in the past where heroes or villains, we don't know yet, team up together to fight something that comes from the egg that takes part in all these places, and very interested to find out what happens. My initial theory, thinking about it right now, is that potentially there is a villain or something very powerful that comes into Vana'diel that is so strong that it forces the everyone to team up just to defeat it. So the Beastmen and our normal allies have to team up together to defeat this great evil or whatever it might be. And then more of the artwork. Now, this is a website that they made for just this storyline. Even the smallest of incidents can have a ripple effects that alter the course of history. Three individuals of unknown origin have inserted themselves seamlessly into everyday life, their robes murky and their intentions even murkier. Only a short time passed before small eggs of unknown origin started appearing in all manner of places throughout Vanadil. Eggs whispered in the oldest of Beastman legends. So this has me thinking, this is an egg. Obviously, something comes from the egg, something big. Uh, it's going to be very interesting to find out what actually happened, what actually comes from these eggs. And me, as an endgame player or someone who's interested in endgame content, wants to know when can we fight whatever comes from that egg. But for now, we are just getting the part one. Oh, right. Some notes on the bottom. This is free. This is not an expansion pack. This seems to be exactly like what they did with Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. Rhapsodies of Vana'diel was essentially a full expansion. It just didn't have all the new like brand new zones that you'd expect from an expansion. Like Secrets of Adeline came with like 20 new zones. Rhapsodies of Vana'diel came with 1 to 3 new zones, maybe 2 new zones, and like 3 reskin zones. So I wouldn't expect many new zones, but there is precedence that we could get a few new zones or at least some reskin zones. But it is completely free, and it's not. You don't have to pay a cent to play this, except for buying the game in full with all the expansions, which is what they mention here. The other key note is you have to have cleared all of Rhapsodies of Vana'diel, which is the free expansion pack I was talking about before, which is basically story-wise and quality-wise, essentially a full expansion for all intents and purposes, which is very, very enjoyable. I would actually say Rhapsodies of Vana'diel, among many players, ranks as a top expansion, like even better than um, Wings of the Goddess and Rise of the Zilart. And then lastly, you can buy the Seekers collection, which actually goes on sale for $9.99 in August, which is very cool. And then let's go to part one. This is what we will be. This is a story segment that we will be getting this update that will be unfolding through many updates. Beastmen clad in black infiltrate the streets of Bastok with motives as murky as the grab they don. Their mark, a Galcan child. So essentially, the most interesting part that comes to my mind when looking at this is this goblin right here and what this goblin has in its hands. That is none other than a Ragnarok, but this Ragnarok is reskinned. Um, Immediately, what jumps to my head is: are we going to get a new line of ultimate weapons? Would it be an upgrade to the current relics that are already in the game that we would upgrade via this expansion into an upgraded dark relic that changes its appearance? Or is this going to be a completely new line of weapons that the players may be able to use um, separate from the relic? So we'd have the relic set on its own, and then we'd have a new, brand new, with different stats and different weapon skills, or maybe even retouched weapon skills similar to the relic weapon skills in these dark relics. Uh, that is something that we will obviously find out in the future. I'm hoping for the best, but I don't want to hype it up too much. And then that's pretty much all the information we know. Obviously, we'll learn more as when the update hits in the next couple days. So I'm really looking forward to that. But before we go, I want to get into some old concept art that we may be seeing reused in the in this new storyline. So these could potentially be bosses that we end up facing. This is from 2015, I believe. This is concept art from Seekers of Adeline that they never ended up using. But we actually don't know how far along in the design process they got in these. So this is seems to be a Pluton type mob fused with, geez, it seems to be brand new. It obviously has a Tars plate mail type vibe to it, right? With the wings and the bow with the wings attached to it. This next one is an Ultima slash Omega hybrid of Balamor. Uh, as cool as it looks, I don't think we actually want to fight it because this would probably be a really, really deadly and annoying mob. But still, seeing Battlemore come back, it feels like ever since Seekers, Battlemore's been in every single storyline. So to see him come back in this mega form would be pretty cool. Next up, we have it labeled down here. Actually, if you zoom in a little bit, this is labeled Tartarus, and if we go back to the site or to where did they mention it? Right, a dark segment of the world's past, and then right here, peer beyond the veil of death and unravel the tangled threads of conspiracy that threatens the very fabric of the world. This could be a nod, although it might be a stretch, but this could be a nod to us going to Hades. Because, if they put in this much development time into this, it would be hard to believe they would scrap it all. So it'd be very cool for them to rehash all this work they put in to Hades and actually bring it to fruition in this new storyline. Here's another screenshot of more concept art for Hades. And then the final spiral tower should be very cool. Where I could envision a BC where you would start at the bottom and there'd be check marks with NMs in the way or something, and then the ultimate goal. You know how Dynamis, your ultimate goal is just like to roam through the zone and kill NMs and stuff, but it would be cool to have, a going upwards feel to it, right? Where you're in one zone and you're just constantly running up and you're fighting your way to the top. And then once you finally get to the top, there's a mob like this waiting for you, waiting to destroy you. But okay, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think about the new Final Fantasy XI storyline. Can you believe that we're even getting this in 2020? What do you think is in store? Do you think we're actually going to get the Dark Relics? I would love to hear your guys' theories. Let me know in the comments below. You guys have a great day. Thank you again for supporting the channel. You guys have a great day. Take care. And don't forget to check me out live every day on Twitch from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central, where we talk about this stuff all the time. And a special shout out and thank you to Brayden for being my very first Patreon. Thank you so much, man. Very much appreciated.